First, welcome everyone. My name is Brandon Kreitz. I am one of our enrollment managers in the Office of Admission. And I might be working with you, or you might have another enrollment manager, but it's really my goal today and always to be the ultimate resource for you as you kind of move forward into joining us here at John Carroll. Welcome and congratulations to all of you on being accepted to John Carroll University. I'm so happy for you, and we're really hoping that you'll be joining us here in the fall. Thank you also for joining us today for the Residence Life session. Campus life is amazing. It's a wonderful opportunity to make lifelong friends and memories. As we move forward, I am one of your co-hosts for today, but I'm going to really take a backseat approach. Before I hand it off to Lisa Brown Cornelius, who's going to be taking us through the presentation along with our excellent student guests, I wanted to remind you that if you can keep yourself muted, that would be great. Feel free to keep your cameras on. It's always nice to see faces during the time when we normally can't see faces in person. But if you can keep yourself muted, we'd appreciate it. However, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be talking. If you do have questions about anything you see, or if there's anything you want to know, we highly encourage you to use the chat function to type those questions in. We'll have some time left over at the end specifically for those questions. So do not hesitate to ask a question if you have it, because I guarantee someone else has that same question. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to Lisa Brown Cornelius and our awesome student presenters to take it away.
Thanks, Brandon. And I extend my welcome along with Brandon's. Congratulations for being accepted to John Carroll. And I hope that as you're making your college decision, that we will be seeing you in the fall at John Carroll. I serve as the Senior Director of Residence Life. And so today I'm going to spend some time talking with you about the on-campus living experience. In just a moment, I'm going to share my screen and have the amazing student leaders that are with me today introduce themselves. So just a second while I share my screen. Okay. As Brandon indicated, please, if you have any questions, please place those into the chat box and we will do our best at the end of the presentation to get through all of those. And so now I'd like to introduce and ask our student staff members, student leaders who are with us to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Maria.
Hi, everyone, and congratulations. I want to say that too. I'm Maria Ambrose. I'm a senior, class of 2021. I'm from Brunswick, Ohio, and my major is business management and human resources, and I'm a community assistant on campus.
And I'm Joe Clark. I'm also a senior, so class of 21. My hometown is not far from Brunswick. It's Strongsville, Ohio, and I'm studying English and also education. And this is my third year as an RA, so.
Hello, everybody. My name's Matt Meyer, and I'm a junior, so I'll be graduating in 2022. I'm a political science, economics, and Italian triple major, and I'm also a resident assistant here on campus.
Hi, everyone. I'm Juliana Taylor. I am a sophomore, and my major is biology, and I'm from Southfield, Michigan. And congratulations.
The four students who are joining me are amazing student leaders who work in residence life, known as resident assistants or community assistants. And if you live on campus, you'll have lots of opportunity to interact with students just like them who will help you in your transition to campus, as well as help you meet other folks on campus and provide different activities and ways to support you in your journey. One of the things that we know from our work in residence life is that our students tell our story best and tell other students best about what it means to live on campus and why living on campus is such an important part of the John Carroll experience. The next couple of slides I'm going to show you are information from data and assessments that we get from our students. So it's what our students tell us. And we know that overwhelmingly, our students who live on campus would recommend living on campus to a new student. Maria is going to share a little bit more about why she recommends living on campus.
So living on campus gives you the opportunity to meet a lot of people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. And that's how I made some of my forever friends my freshman year. I still talk to all the girls like on my floor. It was a lot of fun. And being on campus is really great because there's a lot of different like floor events that your RA will hold for you every semester. And it's a really good opportunity to meet people and try new things, which is really cool. And it opens up just a lot of opportunities. It's amazing and memorable experience. It's one of like my best decisions, I think, at John Carroll was living on campus. I love it. I really do. And it's fun decorating your room.
Thanks, Maria. We also know that our students tell us that living on campus positively contributes to their academic success. And Juliana wants to share a little bit about that.
Yes, I just wanted to say that during my freshman year, it really helped me to actually utilize the library and go from my dorm to the library in late hours in the library commons. There's a bunch of tutors that are students that actually have the same major as the topic, and it's really helpful. And also the RAs also have various majors, so you can also go to them for help, which is helpful in your dorm.
Thanks, Juliana. And finally, our students overwhelmingly tell us that living on campus contributes to their sense of belonging to John Carroll and their decision to not only come to John Carroll, but to stay at John Carroll. So Matt's going to share a little bit about that.
So as Maria mentioned, not only does being on campus mean that I get to see more of my friends throughout the day, but it truly is like living in a tightly knit community, which is one of my favorite aspects of being here at JCU. Every day I'm surrounded by a wonderful group of people in my residential community that I'm confident will be there whether I need help with a school project or anything else throughout my day. Along with this, it is also a large convenience aspect of being in the heart of campus. Along with being a resident assistant, I serve as the student body president. So being able to walk less than 100 feet to go to the student center and meet up with friends or even a few colleagues from the student government allows me to find an escape from the school day or even the place that I sleep in order to be able to just hang out with a group of friends, talk, or even work on group projects. Living on campus truly makes me feel like I'm a part of the community and has allowed me to develop my sense of belonging here at JCU.
Thanks, Matt. So as Maria, Juliana, and Matt have shared, our residential community is really special. It's a place where we hope that students will learn about themselves, develop relationships, and have memories that last a lifetime. Joe Clark has been a resident assistant with our office for the past 3 years, and he has been with first year students his entire time. So he's going to share a little bit about his perspective of seeing a first year residential community develop. Joe?
Yeah, so having first year students is a blast. And like Lisa said, I've had it for the last 3 years now. So it's crazy that it's been 3 and is already coming to a close. But that makes me think about that first year, which is where you come in, you don't know many people, right? The vast majority of people you don't know, and it's a brand new place. And I think something that the residence life community does so well is creating a community that is also focused on the individual, but the community at large. So I have 2 examples that I just wanted to share to kind of testify to that. The first comes from my first year as an RA, so my sophomore year. I had a student who suffered from Crohn's, and he and I have remained close to this day. And something with Crohn's is that you have to monitor very, very closely. So he was sharing these things with me, not something that I was familiar with at the time. And he was also going through a severe breakup. So he was worried about these 2 things. And throughout that, like every week, we would just touch base. Like we would grab some food and we just hang out. He loved Chipotle. I love Chipotle. We go to Chipotle. I was lucky to have my car. So we would go to Chipotle, just hang out and talk. And he was saying that his health was at the best that it's ever been. So to hear that and to know that he was struggling with these 2 things, like truly, like he'd broken down to me before, and these things were very much so on his mind. When he was getting great grades, he ended up with an internship at Deloitte his freshman year. I mean, this kid is rocking it. So that's a testimony to like, you got to focus on the individual to focus on the group at large. And then to focus on the group at large, I can tell you that right before this, I was having a program with my guys this year, and we just were having donuts and coffee. It's a program that I've done actually every year because it's such a success. And in the morning, like you get up and to walk just a couple feet to have some coffee and have some donuts with the people that you're living with is just a great experience. And you get to know everybody and you really develop this sense of community. And that's what it's all about. So.
Thanks, Joe. So as you look to forward to the fall and living on campus, I want to share with you the 3 residence halls that we have set aside for first year students. Campion Hall, Pacelli Hall, and Hamlin Hall. Campion Hall and Hamlin Hall are located on Belvoir, right in front of the football stadium, Shula Football Stadium, right across the street from the Student Center. It's a great community of an opportunity to live with all first year students and be close to campus, but be in a little bit of a different location. And so you're close to the student center, which has our recreation facilities, our dining hall, And you're just a short walk from the rest of campus to your classroom, buildings, and the library and other places on campus. And then Pacelli Hall is located in the heart of campus, right on the main quad. Another great first year building with, you're close to the student center, and you're also kind of right in the middle of all the action. You can see what's happening on the main quad, see folks coming and going. One of my favorite things in the springtime is seeing students yelling out the window to each other as folks are crossing the quad and talking to each other through the window. So it's just a great way to be in the center of all of it with other first year students. All of our first year halls have double rooms and single rooms. And so you have the option to have either of those rooms. The vast majority of first year students live in double rooms, but we do have single occupancy spaces available. All of our first year buildings have community bathrooms. So you're not only learning to live with your roommate, but you're learning to understand what it means to live in a larger community and getting to know folks who are down the hall from you, as well as your room. Another exciting thing that we offer to first year students is living learning communities. And these 3 living learning communities are based on majors or interest areas that we have found students are looking for to enhance their overall experience. We have a STEM living learning community, which is for students who are STEM intended majors. So biology, chemistry, computer science, math. And so those folks live together and share some common experiences with classes, but also some common programming around things that are unique to STEM intended majors. The other living learning community we have is for our mission-based scholars program. So those of you who are in the honors, Arupe leadership, or social innovations fellows programs, it's an opportunity to live with other students in those programs, to share experiences, and just get to know folks that will be often in class with you, or that you will encounter in the other scholarship program-based experiences. And then finally, we'll be introducing a health and wellness living learning community. And this does not pertain to a specific major, but it is an opportunity for students who want to focus on their health and wellness. So may want to live with folks who are committed to working out consistently, or have a specific focus on nutrition or just healthy living, and want to be around like-minded individuals. So we'll be introducing that to our community in the fall. So if you choose to be a part of that, you'll be one of the first. You'll be the inaugural class of students in the health and wellness living learning community. I also want to talk about the fall 2021 residential experience. There is no doubt that the past year and a half has been challenging for all of us. And as an institution, John Carroll is committed to returning to a robust in-person living and learning experience in the fall. As we know that we're continuing to remain current with the science and the directives given to us by state and federal officials, but our intent, with as much as we are able to, is we are returning to an in-person and a robust in-person experience in the fall. And this means that students will be living on campus. Our students are living on campus right now, and while in working with the different protocols and things like that, but we're seeing amazing community develop and amazing relationships be formed because students, we know how important the living experience is to the John Carroll experience. So we'll continue to increase the density of students in the residence halls, increasing the numbers of students there. We'll offer double and single occupancy rooms. We will always continue our focus on relationship and community development. And then as we continue to learn what it means to live within this global pandemic, we'll continue our prioritization of health and safety. Many of these protocols, including our enhanced cleaning, our safety protocols related to physical distancing, mask wearing, and strict occupancy limits, as well as providing testing and quarantine and isolation support, the protocols that we're using this spring to prioritize the health and safety of our students and make sure that we can provide that amazing in-person experience for all of our students who live on campus. So by the time fall comes around, we're hoping that some of those may be different based on where we are in this pandemic, but we are confident in what we have done and the ways in which we're supporting our students now, and look forward to being able to do that in the fall as well. So our next steps, we encourage you, if you are ready to make that decision, make your deposits, join the class of 2025. And it's my understanding that there is a link on the celebration website that'll connect you to your gateway to make that deposit. Once you make your deposit, the next piece for choosing to live on campus is the housing application will open March 1st. And we'll stay open until June 5th. So it's not, you don't have to worry about, you'll have plenty of time to get it completed no matter when you make your deposit. When you complete your housing application does not have any bearing on the type of residence hall you're assigned to, the type of room you receive, things like that. We just want to make sure that students have plenty of time to complete that application because we know there's a lot happening for you at the end of your senior year. And then once your application is complete, partially through that process, we'll open up information about selecting roommates and understanding the roommate process on May 1st. So we'll share more information with you about that. We're looking at some new ways of doing that as we're entering the fall. So that information will be shared with you starting May 1st. So lots of time to move through our processes, but we hope that you will begin those processes by making your deposit to join our class. And with that, I'd like to open it up for questions. Please know that if your question doesn't get answered today, we're going to take note of all the questions and make sure that the information is updated on our website. Please also know that you can reach out to our office directly, and we'd be happy to have an individualized conversation with you if there's a specific question that is important to you as the student or to parents and families and those who are supporting our students. We're happy to have that conversation. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that we can talk through some of the questions we've received.
Yeah, I think that we've gotten a few questions. We've gotten quite a few questions already, which is awesome. So let me scroll back up a little bit. We've gotten at least one or two questions asking if there is an Arupe Scholars dorm. Lisa, is there a specific, do you know which hall that would be?
So we don't have a specific residence hall that is for the Arupe Scholars, but the Arupe Scholars are invited to live with on the mission-based scholars floor. So that floor would have the Arupe Scholars, the Leadership Scholars, students in the honors program, or the Social Innovation Fellows. So if you are a member of one of those programs, you are more than welcome to sign up for that Living Learning Community. This year, that Living Learning Community is in Hamlin Hall. Last year it was in Campion Hall. We make the decision on where it goes based on the demand for students to live there, but it will be in one of the first year buildings.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that was Julia who asked that. I think Ava also asked if there's a specific residence hall where the STEM Living Learning Community lives. Can you repeat where that is?
Sure. So the STEM Living Learning Community this year is in Campion. And it's been in Campion in the years that we've had it. So I would imagine that it'll return to Campion for next year.
Awesome, thank you. We got two questions that can probably be answered really quickly. Jessica asked if residence halls are co-ed, and then I think Yanni asked if the dorms have air conditioning.
Good, both good questions. The residence halls are co-ed. They're co-ed by floor or by side of the building. So it just depends upon how the buildings are set up as to where the separation occurs. But they are single gender identified on the floor or wing, and then but the building overall is co-ed. And the first year residence halls are not air conditioned. However, we do have a process if you need air conditioning based on a medical need and need an exception to bring an air conditioner. We have a process to support you in that as you move forward.
All right, thank you. Sydney, let's combine these two questions from Sydney and Bree. So Sydney asked, what determines what hall you live in? And then Bree asks, how do you choose your roommates and how can you get to know your roommate before moving on campus? So can you talk a little bit about the door or the room and roommate matching policy?
Absolutely. So our focus is on creating the strongest roommate pairing that we can. So what we do in having students pair with roommates is we have an extensive process where you'll answer questions about yourself and we'll guide you through a matching process that will allow you to see how does what I think about something match with how someone else thinks about that. So we ask you questions about how do you like to study? How do you, are you a light sleeper? Are you a heavy sleeper? Do you go to bed early? Do you get up late? Some things about your habits. Are you clean, or do you prefer to live, have a messy room? But things that we know that roommates, when we talk with roommates that they have questions about, or if there's conflicts that arise, we try to match you from the beginning with a really strong roommate pair. So when we get to that May 1st period, all of the information about going through that roommate process will be available to you, and you'll be sharing those details with us so that we can support you in finding that roommate pair. You may also, if there's someone that you want to live with, you may also choose to live with that person. So it's not a requirement that you have a roommate identified, but we will help match you with someone. But if there's someone that you want to live with, you are more than welcome to do that as well. And then finally, because we focus on creating the strongest roommate matches, the assignment of residence hall is random after that. If you are living in one of the living learning communities, you will be assigned to the building or to the living learning community floor. But other than that, it's a random assignment. So there's no, when you complete your housing application, when you submit your deposit to John Carroll, has no bearing on which residence hall you will be placed in.
Along those same lines, I'm going to jump down a little bit. Riley also asked, Riley said that they're playing soccer at JCU, and can they request to have someone from the team as a roommate? I know that, Lisa, you already mentioned if you know a specific teammate, you can put them, and as long as you both list each other, you'll get matched up. Is there a student? I think that we also got another question if there's a specific hall where student athletes live. Could you speak on like student athletes and living on campus?
Yeah, so great question, and congratulations for thinking about playing for one of our fantastic athletic teams. I know that that's an amazing part of the student experience for many of our students. We do not have a specific residence hall that is designated for student athletes. They are intermixed in with all of the other students. We do work with students, and often coaches are instrumental in helping students connect with other first-year students on teams. If you want to live with, I think the soccer team is what this student mentioned, if you want to live with another soccer player. So your coach is a great resource to help you begin connecting with other first-year soccer players that you may be interested in living with. So it's not a requirement, but if that's something you are interested in because of potentially common interests, common schedules, you are able to do that. And usually we work closely with coaches to accomplish that.
Yes, thank you. Laura asked, how much does living on campus cost?
That's a great question. The exact number, Brandon, do you have the updated?
It's yeah, I think that the numbers we have are $12,876 per year.
Thank you.
Including room and board, and I believe that also comes with the standard 15-block meal plan, if I remember correctly.
So we have a standard residential meal plan, which will be an unlimited meal plan, and so that will be included with the standard room and board.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and as a quick aside to that, financial aid, if you have if you would like to have a more detailed discussion about financial aid, we have opportunities for that today, but each student's enrollment manager is also hosting financial aid meetings. So if you wanted to talk with someone like me about a full breakdown of your financial aid, tuition, room and board, student fees, everything, please visit our website to schedule an appointment to talk with us, or contact your enrollment manager, because money's not the only concern, but it certainly is. So that's a good question. We have two questions about dietary needs. Austin and I think it's a T. Baroni, an abbreviation, but these students mentioned that they are vegan, whether due to allergies or lifestyle choices. They are vegan, and most of the other campuses that they've visited, like sometimes they'll offer a salad bar, and that's pretty much it. They have concerns about eating vegan and staying vegan while on campus. Could you maybe speak a little bit about Parkhurst and like our dining hall options for vegan students and vegetarian students?
Sure. So we have a great partner with Parkhurst Dining, who is our dining provider. They are new to our campus this year, and I'm sure that if you talk with any of our returning students, and I'll might ask one of our RAs to share what their experience has been with dining. But they have done a great job of working with the students with different dietary needs and supporting students as they make the dietary choices that are best for them or necessitated for them. What they do is there are multiple options available. They also label all the items in the dining hall so that you're able to understand what the ingredients are, so that you know if something is vegetarian, vegan, if it's gluten-free, if it contains nuts or shellfish or some of those other common allergens. But there is a significant focus on plant-forward cooking and providing of items for students. And so if you have more specific questions, I am more than happy to connect with you individually and have you talk with our dining provider to talk through share kind of the common menus that we have right now that offer, and what vegan and vegetarian options are available, as well as other dietary needs. Matt, Juliana, Maria, Joe, any thoughts that you have about dining on campus and what you've noticed in terms of options for folks with different dietary needs?
I'd love to speak on it, sure. So one thing that I'm actually relatively proud to speak about is our new food provider that we just signed a contract with these last year. Their emphasis has been on making sure that every single student with any sort of needs has the food that they need to have and on a day-to-day basis. The way that I like to think about it personally is they have various stations in the main shot hall dining area, two of which sort of have your staple foods, the ones that you mentioned, like your burgers, whether that be a vegan burger or a regular beef burger, fries, pizza, things of that nature. Then along with that, they have 5 or 6 other stations, ones that include things like a salad bar, a specialty meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that changes on rotation every single meal and every single day. And at those stations, they always offer vegan-friendly, gluten-free friendly options every single time. They have both the meat, the standard meat options, as well as ones that are friendly to every sort of variety of diets. Along with that, we do also offer a few other options on campus outside of Shot Hall that is associated with your dining meal plans. Those include different areas such as the In-Between, which has 5 different various restaurants to order things from, all that come with vegan-friendly options as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to be mindful of time, so I hope that helps. If you do have further questions about dietary needs or anything like that, please contact us. But I want to try to get to some of these other questions too. I can really quickly, I think Melanie asked for clarification on the meal plans. If you get the unlimited meal plan, it is truly unlimited. It's not like you get, unlimited as long as you eat 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day. It's unlimited. You can swipe it 15 times a day if you wanted to. I mean, it's unrestricted access to the main dining hall on campus. We have other food vendors on campus, such as the In-Between, the Nook, Einstein Brothers Bagels. We have a Starbucks location on campus, but it is truly unlimited to the main dining hall. I think that we got another question about if Abby asked if I were to live off campus because I was close to JCU, is there any way I can still have dining access? And yes, even if you're a commuter student, you can still buy a meal plan. You can still put dining dollars on your student ID, or you could just pay cash for anything like any of the vendors on campus. So there are plenty of options to you still, even if you're a commuter. We got a couple of other questions about how is sorority and fraternity housing handled. Lisa, could you really quickly talk about that?
Absolutely. So fraternity and sorority housing, if you choose to join one of those great organizations, and Maria lives in the fraternity and sorority building. We have one building that is designated for those organizations to live in. That's typically something that you would move into as a sophomore, even if you join the organization as a first-year student. But that opportunity is available, and that is located this year in Satowski Hall.
Thank you. We've gotten I think 1 or 2 questions about if you are in the Arupe Scholars Program, is it required you live with the Living Learning community?
It is not required. It's an option we make available to students.
Thank you. Yes. All right. I'm trying to scroll through, make sure I got all these. Students, really quickly, we've gotten some questions for you guys. Which residence hall do you prefer, if you have a preference? Also for the students, where is this one? I think someone had asked, which meal plan do you recommend? Really quickly, could anyone just say something about that?
For
Bye,
the
Maria.
dorms, for the dorms, I lived in Campion and Hamlin. I loved them so much. The architecture is beautiful. Hamlin just got new furniture. Campion is amazing. I feel like all the dorms, like no matter where you guys end up, there's so many different reasons to love them. Like Pacelli's at the heart of campus, but like there's just I really enjoyed it living in Campion freshman year and then Hamlin sophomore year. Sorry, really quick. Yeah.
No, that's great.
Exactly like what Maria said. Just it's all preferential. Campion and Hamlin are more centered around the athletic areas, like our football stadium and the student rec center. And then Pacelli, like I mentioned, is in the heart of campus near all the academic buildings. Whatever ones you want to be more closely tied to, all three are very beautiful buildings. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of where you want to live.
Yeah, and for the meal plan thing, really quickly, we always recommend you go with whatever meal plan really works best for you. But if the unlimited meal plan is already put into room and board, we highly recommend you just stick with that one, mainly for peace of mind too, so you don't have to track your meal swipes. And I think someone had also asked if meal swipes can be used at like the Starbucks. Lisa, can the swipes be used there, or is it just dining dollars?
So our meal plan has a couple of different options for you within it. You can use portions of it at the Einsteins, at Starbucks, and at the in-between. So, you'll have lots of flexibility while you're on campus. The one thing that I can say is that we have a new provider. So there's going to be some new things for you next year that we're still trying to figure out. So, but we know that whatever it turns out to be, it's going to be fantastic because the dining experience right now is really good.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we're like 2 minutes over, so I want to get to these last ones really quickly because they are some very good questions. Some people are asking if students generally live on campus for 4 years or 2 years, or what the situation is after students move off campus, and if JCU helps students find off-campus housing.
Can I start that question first, Brandon, and then give?
Absolutely.
So John Carroll has a 2-year residency requirement. So we require students to live on campus for their first 2 years. And then after that, we offer housing for juniors and seniors on campus, but it's not required. We know that some students may choose to move off campus, and that is totally your decision, and we support that. We don't help in finding off-campus housing, but we do have junior, senior housing available on campus. So I don't know, since you're the senior and have lived on campus for 4 years, if you want to offer some perspective there.
I love living on campus. You're so close to everything. You could just walk out with friends and just knock on their doors to like go to the cafeteria together. Like I loved it so much, and I feel like you get more of the John Carroll experience being here. Like Matt was saying earlier, like you kind of get entwined with the community. So it's really nice. I loved it. I'm gonna miss it. I hope you all enjoy it.
Actually,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
I actually had the opportunity for a semester to live off campus, just with the way things shaked out, and it's a different experience. It's a really different experience. I will tell you that there's something that comes along with the convenience of being on campus that you just can't put into words. And aside from the community, truly, like if you want to be logistical, the convenience is top notch.
Yes, that's always good. Olivia asked if washers and dryers are included with room and board.
They are.
Yeah, they are. Vincent asked if the 2-year residency requirement still applies if classes are online, like the past fall. I mean, Lisa, I'm sure you can talk to that. I don't think it will be all online again.
Yeah, like I said earlier, and at the parent session at 1:45, I know that they're going to go more in depth to this conversation about what fall 2021 is going to look like. But when we went online in the fall, we did not have students living on campus, and so that does not. We did not, so. We still maintain the 2-year residency requirement, but if we are online, which we are moving forward, that we are going to have a robust in-person experience. So it would not be affected if we were online, but we're not planning to be online. So we're hoping to have the 2-year residency requirement and have you on campus for the next 2 years.
Yeah, and the last 2 questions that I'll cover while we're here today. We had 2 or 3 people ask how we are handling COVID and quarantining. I know that at least as a university, we have multiple strategic groups that handle the macro situation, like a large picture of the state and nationwide situations, vaccinations. Our human resources department is tracking down and trying to see how we can vaccinate not only our staff and faculty, but our students as well. We have expanded. There's tons of information on our website about how we've expanded cleanliness and safety and health measures. With we clean the bathrooms 3 more times a day, and we have hand sanitizers in every hallway now, and plexiglass wall shields and things like that. But Lisa, I know that it's a concern on everyone's mind. So really quickly, could you maybe just give a rundown on how residence life has changed?
Absolutely. So a couple of things that are happening in residence life. We have masking requirements in all areas of the residence halls except when you're in your private room. We've limited capacity in both residence hall rooms as well as common areas. We've enhanced our cleaning protocols where we clean multiple times a day with specialized cleaning staff members, as well as cleaning chemicals that are all EPA approved and approved to fight COVID. We have cleaning supplies available to students in the form of sanitary disinfectant wipes for students to disinfect spaces that they may want to over and above the cleaning that is happening. We also have a robust quarantine and isolation program so that we can support any student who needs to be isolated or quarantined on campus. We have those students in a building. We're delivering food to them 3 times a day, trying to send care packages, make sure that they're okay. Our campus ministry staff are reaching out to students on a daily basis to offer support. So we're trying to support those students who need to be in quarantine and isolation, as well as providing a healthy and safe environment in our general residence halls. On top of that, we have the ability and have tested wide numbers of students. We tested all students when they arrived on campus. We're continuing to do surveillance testing. If we believe that we are potentially identifying a potential cluster in a residence hall or some other area of campus, we can test that group very easily. So we are doing really well and have managed COVID really well so far this semester on campus due to the collaboration and planning that we have in place.
Yes, and in case you're curious, all of John Carroll University's COVID statistics are available fully publicly on our website. We are not ashamed. We're not trying to hide anything. We're doing a darn good job of keeping it under control. So we're proud of it. Brad also asked if COVID vaccines will be required for students once those are available.
That's a good question. We, as everyone who is following the COVID, we're unsure of the COVID vaccine rollout at this point in time. We are monitoring that and we'll make a determination around requirement. But in the meantime, if you are eligible to get one, we highly encourage you to get one prior to coming to campus in the fall. That will protect you and protect the rest of our community. So we haven't made a determination on a requirement, but please, if you're eligible, please get one prior to coming to campus. And as we learn more, and if a requirement is put in place, that will absolutely be communicated once that decision is made.
Yes, thank you. All right. I think I'm gonna call it there. We're actually 10 minutes over, but you had some excellent questions and when we love it. So I just want to be mindful of your time and give you a chance to get to the next session. Don't forget that after this, starting at 1:45, we're splitting you up. We're gonna have the students only in a Streaks, Secrets, Spills, and Stories session. Tons of alliteration. So students, we encourage you to join that. Parents, we really encourage you to join the parents only session, where you can kind of get some time to ask some questions, about COVID, about your students, about anything you'd like to talk about. So I want to thank you all again for joining today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. You had some excellent questions. Don't forget that if you decide to join us here, log on to your JCU Gateway and accept the offer of admission and pay that deposit. But we love you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everyone.
I'll see you. Thank you.